The air was thick with the smell of rain. John Watson sat by the window. He was a doctor in London. His friend Sherlock Holmes was out. A buzz from his phone broke the silence. It was a text from an unknown number. The clock ticks. Find the crow's nest. Time is running out. John frowned. This was odd. He reread the message. What did it mean? It sounded urgent, like something from one of Sherlock's cases. Could it be a prank? He decided to show Sherlock when he returned. But something about the message tugged at him, urging him to act. John paced his apartment. Curiosity gnawed at him. He had to know more. The message mentioned a crow's nest. What could that be? A place? A thing? He grabbed his coat and hat, determined to unravel the mystery. John started his search in their own neighborhood. He reasoned the sender might be close by. He thought of local pubs with nautical themes. One came to mind, the Crow's Nest down by the docks. The pub was crowded and noisy. Sailors and locals drank and talked loudly. John scanned the room. He looked for anyone who seemed out of place, anyone watching him. He felt a tap on his shoulder. It was an old sailor, face weathered with a missing tooth. "Looking for something, mate?" the sailor rasped. "Perhaps," John replied cautiously. "Have you been here long?" "Aye, all day," the sailor said with a shrug. "What brings you here then?" John hesitated. Should he trust this man? He decided to take a chance. "I received a message," John began, mentioning a crow's nest. "I thought it might refer to this pub." The sailor's eyes widened in surprise. "A message, you say?" he muttered. "Best be careful, mate. This ain't no game." He leaned closer. "The crow's nest you seek is hidden in plain sight. Look for the eyes that never blink." He then melted into the crowd, leaving John with more questions than answers. John spent hours scouring the pub, looking for anything resembling eyes that never blink. Frustration gnawed at him. Was he chasing shadows? Just as he was about to give up, he noticed it. A painting of a ship, its figurehead a majestic eagle. Its eyes, made of polished stones, seemed to gleam in the dim light. He examined the painting closely. He felt a small bump behind the canvas. He carefully peeled it back to reveal a small, leather-bound notebook hidden behind the painting. His heart pounded with anticipation. This had to be it. John flipped open the notebook. It was filled with cryptic symbols and codes. He couldn't understand a word. This was beyond his expertise. He needed Sherlock's keen eye for detail. He tucked the notebook into his coat, a sense of urgency gripping him. He had to get back to Baker Street. John burst through the door of 221B Baker Street, out of breath. Sherlock was seated in his armchair, puffing on his pipe, amusement in his eyes. "You seem to have had an interesting evening, Watson," he remarked, his voice laced with amusement. "Chasing after phantom crows, I presume?" John recounted the events of his evening, laying out the mysterious text and the notebook on the table. He watched as Sherlock's eyes scanned the contents, his usual detached demeanor replaced by a flicker of intrigue. After what felt like an eternity, Sherlock leaned back, a knowing smile playing on his lips. "This, my dear Watson," he announced, tapping the notebook, "is the work of an amateur. A rather unimaginative attempt at creating intrigue." John stared at him, bewildered. "But the message, the clues, the sailor?" Sherlock chuckled. "All staged, Watson. A prank, orchestrated by none other than your own landlady, Mrs. Hudson." John's jaw dropped. Mrs. Hudson? That kind old woman? It seemed impossible. But then, he remembered her fondness for spy novels and her mischievous sense of humor. It all suddenly made sense. He couldn't help but laugh. He had been thoroughly played. From that day forward, John Watson never looked at Mrs. Hudson the same way again. The woman who dusted their furniture and brought them tea was full of surprises. It was a reminder that sometimes, the most ordinary people could be the source of the most unexpected adventures.